Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today on behalf of Kinder Creations, and I am sharing a scrapbook layout process video for you today. I have used a couple of items from the Kinder Creations shop, and I'm teaming it up this month with my Kidaholic kits. So firstly, I've taken a background paper which I thought was quite busy, and I'm just going to mute that down with some white gesso just to help give me a background that doesn't sort of take away the focus from the elements that I'm going to add. Now I'm using the Drifting Hearts stencil, and I'm going to add a little bit of messy paste to the background. Some people like their paste to be quite structured. I felt like this layout and this stencil really lent itself quite well to a more messy sort of mixed media background, and that's what I'm creating with this gold heart paste element. Now while I set that aside to dry, I'm going to add some embossing powder to my chipboard title, and I like to leave it in the little chipboard frame that it comes in because I find it's a lot more stable when you're treating it. And I'm just using the Nuvo glitter in gold embossing powder to actually treat that chipboard piece. So I'm going to heat set it. It only needs the one coat, and then I'm going to also put that aside to dry and pull it out later with my Stanley knife. While I'm allowing all these elements to sort of settle and dry, I'm going to add some background interest to my photo. Firstly, just mounting it on the sheet of patterned paper. And this photo is very old, so my boys are now 6 years old, and this is the first photo I have of me with Master Zed, and because it was a twin birth, I didn't get to see the boys straight away. They were in the neonatal intensive care unit, so this was sort of the first opportunity I'd had to give him a cuddle and sort of say hi and I'm your mum and things like that. So it's quite a special photo, and I have scrapped it once before, but in terms of my scrapbooking, the way I keep my memories is I have created an album for each of my boys and then an album for me to keep. So some photos I will actually use 3 times and scrapbook in 3 different ways, depending on who's going to get the album and what I need it for. Okay, so enough little rambling. I'm making my layers in the background here, and what I do is I separate them with cardstock elements. You can see I've popped a little gold doily in there as well, and that's just to help add interest and sort of blend that gold into the layers as well. Now, because I'm using the long mother and son title, I'm sort of thinking, where am I going to put the title? I thought it would get a little bit lost in the word background paper, so it is going to end up over my photo, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it wasn't how I'd actually initially planned to scrap this particular photo. And that's what happens. Sometimes I have a plan, and sometimes it evolves, and sometimes I just wing it. So, taking the chipboard out, I'm going to actually attach that with tacky glue. Tacky glue is my preferred method of adhering things, so that's just what I like to do, but use whatever glue you have a preference for. And once that's attached to the photo, I'm going to start to put the finished layout together. There's not a lot of extra elements. Once I'm done with the background, I'm sort of pretty happy with this cluster that I've got going on. I did feel like the layout needed something. I couldn't quite work it out initially what I wanted to do, but I knew that it wasn't framed in the way that I would like. I was happy with the cluster, I was happy with the background, but the layout just needed that little bit of extra something. So I'm going to fussy cut out some butterflies. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm actually going to trim the background paper, so just a 1/2 inch off each side, and I'm going to mount it on some black cardstock, and I think that really does finish and round out the layout. It gives it that much more polished look just by mounting it on that cardstock. So this is a finished layout from me. Please make sure, if you haven't already, you have popped over to the Kinder Creations website. There's lots of great chippies and stencils and some really fun things that you can find, and also check out Kidaholic kits for the elements that I've used on this layout. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please hit that little subscribe button.